it's time to ride. And warmed up and ready to roll this week is the Kawasaki Versey 650. Built around the sportier Ninja 650R platform, Kawasaki says the Versey name means Versitile System. And if by that they mean middleweight adventure machine, then I'd say they've hit the mark. Now, as I mentioned earlier, powering the Verseys is the same dual throttle body, fuel-injected 650 parallel twin found in the Ninja, mated to a cable-actuated clutch and 6-speed tranny. Up front, there's a beefy 41mm adjustable inverted fork, mounted up with two 300mm pedal discs. While out back, you'll find a monoshock adjustable for preload and rebound, and a single 220mm disc brake. So, is the Versey's a versatile system? Well, we invited Toronto Star motorcycle journo Steve Bond to sample the Verseys on your behalf. And here's what he had to say.
Well, Steve, we've been dodging the odd sprinkle here and there all day as we shot the road tests, but I guess we'll try to sneak one in here before we get wet again. Tell me, Kawasaki, right? Motor company, sport bike company. We got a green one right behind us. Way to go, Kawasaki, huh? Something
Absolutely.
Completely different.
This is called the Versys. It's short for Versatile Systems, and it sure is. I mean, this motorcycle will do everything. It's what you referred to back in the old days as a motorcycle.
Right.
What an amazing concept. If you wanted to throw your number plates on it, tape the headlights over and go racing, you could. You could do track days on this. If you wanted to throw the sleeping bag on the back and go to the West Coast, you could. It's a great thing for city traffic. It's up nice and tall so you can see over all the sports utility vehicles.
Yep.
It's narrow for squeezing through tight spots. It's got a good motor.
Yeah.
It just does it all.
Well, let's start with that motor. We saw it about a year and a half ago. It first showed up in the, I guess, the baby Ninja, right?
650R, yeah. It's a parallel twin, 180-degree crankshaft. All the good stuff, fuel injection, EFI with the digital controlled ignition. This one is slightly revised. They tell me it's got different cams for more mid-range. And there's a crossover tube on the exhaust, which lowers the torque peak down a bit to a more usable area. But it's got very usable power, and it pulls really well through at the top end as well.
Now, you mentioned the exhaust. I noticed it's got the sort of baby Buell can under there.
Yeah, it's that funky little thermos bottle type thing, but it actually has a pretty good sound if you noticed.
I thought for a twin, for a parallel twin, it's got a real nice burble.
Absolutely. It doesn't sound like a Briggs & Stratton at all. It's very nice. So
we know it runs well. It's very smooth. What about the brakes?
Brakes are good. The discs are lifted right off the ZX10, they tell me. It's got twin pot calipers, and it's got the adjustable lever so you can dial it into your own preferences. Yep. And two fingers will just stand it on its nose. It's well matched with the bike.
Now, what about the handling of the bike? When you pulled up this morning, you said, wow, it's really flickable. I found it felt very light, nimble.
It's very light, nimble, and narrow. And the nice thing about it is it's got 17-inch wheels front and back. And the size is a 120 front, 160 rear, so you can get any number of modern rubber to put on this thing.
Right.
Which would, one of the disadvantages of some of its competition, actually, they're pigeonholed into a 19-inch front wheel. This is great. It really is nice.
Yeah. Now, how did you find the riding position, the shifting, just the overall comfort of the bike?
Well, the riding position is upright. Pegs are reasonable position. The only thing I could say is somebody short of inseam may have trouble. The seat's 32 inches high, which is not a problem for you or me. The bars are in a nice position. The windscreen is 4-position adjustable. And I found coming along the 401 to your place this morning, it gave a nice still air pocket. There was very little turbulence around my helmet, so it was nice and quiet, which I was really impressed with.
Right. I loved the mirrors. They're big, wide, they didn't shake, and I could see behind me.
Yep, what an amazing concept
again. Concept, eh?
Mirrors that actually work. Yeah, they're vibration free, and they do give a nice view of something other than your elbows, which is a refreshing change.
Yeah. Now this cockpit, I would describe it as being a little bit on the Spartan side, but it's got really everything you need, right?
It does. It has everything you need. Nice analog tachometer, digital speedo with twin trip meters. It's got the clock there. A lot of people like a clock.
Nice to have a clock.
Nice a clock. And it's got the fuel gauge and bank of warning lights.
Right. So I guess overall, going back to the way we started this piece, pleasantly surprised,
Absolutely. I would have to give it 2 thumbs up, and this would go very close to the top of my personal list.
Really?
Absolutely.
So it's the go anywhere, do anything motorcycle.
It's a motorcycle.
A motorcycle. What a concept.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Bondo. Great job.